Skip the gym, not the workout. With Hydro, you get a full body workout in just 20 minutes, hitting 86% of your muscles in one smooth, low impact motion. And now there's a new Hydro Arc, Hydro's most advanced rower yet. Arc introduces Hydrometrics, tracking your power, endurance, and precision every time you row, so you can actually see your progress. Go to hydro.com and use code FIT to get $100 off any Hydro rower, including Arc. That's HYDROW.com. Code FIT.
Did you guys like that? I decided to do something different, and instead of just opening with my voice, I figured I'd use a part of the song that I'm going to play. Except I think I officially, unofficially, accidentally picked my opening song from now on. So we'll see if I'm even allowed. I mean, I guess I can do what I want, right? Okay. If a thin piece of cardboard can allegedly open a portal to hell, why does Hasbro sell it next to Candyland? Anyway, welcome back to Don't Quote Me, It's Probably Nothing, the podcast for the highly curious and slightly haunted. I'm your host, Kelly, and tonight we're talking about Ouija boards, where they come from, why everyone's grandma says don't touch them, and why Reddit swears they've ruined at least 400 apartments. If you're hearing this on Nighthawk Radio, hey night owls, stay weird, stay awake, and remember, demons don't care what time zone you're in. If you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you spiral into chaos, make sure you hit follow, rate, subscribe, review, light a candle, whatever your platform allows. It helps the algorithm know you're brave enough to hang out with me in the dark. If you hear a dog snoring, it's Clarabelle, and she's also hanging out with me in the dark. For those of you who don't know Berkelicious Burkle Pants, her name is Clarabelle Cow, and she looks like a cow, and I love her. Oh, I also want to say, if you're new here, hi and welcome. And please don't get offended, but I get high and then I talk about weird shit. I should probably let people know that because some people were confused. And if you're wondering why I'm even mentioning that, I think there might be people out there who think that I'm like dumb or something. So speaking of dumb, this lady has been bothering me since 2016. Okay, so I was driving into work. And I took back roads because the main street to get to where I worked was like, they were doing road work or whatever. So I took some back roads and the light went from yellow to red and there wasn't like much time to go and I wasn't going to run this red light because no thanks. Anyway, so I didn't run okay, maybe it was yellow. So I didn't run the yellow light. I may have like possibly hit my brakes a little hard so that I didn't go through the light. But anyway, the lady was pretty far behind me. So whatever. So she comes up behind me and I'm looking in my rearview mirror because who doesn't look in their rearview mirror when they do something stupid? And this lady mouthed, "You dumb bitch." Right? And the crazy thing is, I didn't care that she called me a bitch. I was mad that she called me dumb. I was like, oh, she did not just call me dumb. But yeah, I think of that lady often I don't know why. All right, grab a blanket, turn off the lights, and maybe don't say hello out loud. Let's talk about the board that made cardboard terrifying. Before we dive into the Reddit nightmares and demon drama, let's rewind to where this all started, because somehow the Ouija board went from a Victorian Tea Party game to a one-way call to the underworld. Picture it. The late 1800s. Everyone's wearing corsets, dying of mysterious lung diseases, and for fun, they're trying to talk to the dead. Spiritualism was the vibe. People were obsessed with the idea of contacting loved ones who had passed on. There were seances, spirit trumpets, table tapping, basically the paranormal version of a group chat. So in 1890, a group of businessmen were like, yo, what if we made ghost communication more efficient? And thus, the talking board was born. They literally built a wooden board with the alphabet and the words yes, no, and goodbye, because even ghosts use manners. Here's the wildest part, though. When the creators were trying to come up with a name for it, they asked the board what it wanted to be called, and the planchette spelled out Ouija. They asked what it meant, and the board, because it's dramatic, replied, good luck. So, the word Ouija means good luck in, I forget what language it is. I want to say it's Scottish, but I'm not sure. I should probably look that up. But anyway, the name stuck, and in 1891, the Ouija board was officially patented. It was literally a mass-produced toy sold to bored Victorians who were like, we've already done croquet and repressed our emotions, might as well summon Aunt Mildred. But just pretend I said that with like a Victorian accent, proper. Then, in the 1960s, Parker Brothers bought the rights, and that's when things got even weirder because somehow this spirit portal, ended up being marketed right next to Monopoly. Like, you can either buy a boardwalk or open a portal to the ninth circle of hell. Your choice. And then came The Exorcist in 1973. That movie ruined it for everyone. Before that, it was like, oh, spooky fun. After that, no. Suddenly, the Ouija board was public enemy number one, and rightfully so. Parents banned it, churches called it demonic. Hasbro was just over here like, okay, but what if we made it glow in the dark? Which, yeah, the glow in the dark Ouija board was like the thing back in the day, if I remember correctly. But now, more than 100 years later, it's still everywhere. The same toy that was once a party trick is now linked to hauntings, possessions, and about 80% of paranormal posts. Honestly, it has better longevity than most marriages. So yeah, born from grief, sold as a game, and still scaring the absolute hell out of people 130 years later. Let's talk about why people think this thing is cursed, and how something that started in a parlor room turned into the internet's favorite horror story. Because somehow, this piece of wood with letters on it managed to freak out an entire planet for over a century. First, let's start with the rules, because if you've ever used a Ouija board, you know there's a whole etiquette that sounds like it was written by someone's terrified aunt. My rule, don't touch one. Ever. More on that later. Okay, so the rules are, never play alone, never play in a graveyard, always say goodbye, don't let the planchette move in a figure eight, apparently that's how you open a portal, and don't ask the board when you're going to die, because it will answer. And the rule that everyone agrees on, never disrespect the board, because according to basically every person who's ever used one, the second you start, it gets weird. We're talking power surges, objects moving, whispering voices, nightmares, doors slamming, pets losing their mind, classic we've made a huge mistake energy. Now, skeptics try to explain this away by what's called the ideomotor effect. That's the scientific term for when your subconscious mind makes tiny movements without you realizing it, like your fingers nudging the planchette. So technically, they're spelling the answers themselves. Newsflash, sometimes that's not it, my guy. Here's where it gets creepy. What happens when the board starts spelling things you don't know, like foreign words or details you couldn't possibly guess, or when it tells you something that actually comes true? That's where we meet the internet's favorite nightmare, Zozo. If you've spent any time on paranormal Reddit or YouTube rabbit holes, you've seen this name. Z-O-Z-O, usually spelled out over and over again on the board. People claim that if the planchette starts moving between Z and O repeatedly, you're not talking to grandma, you're talking to something else. Legends say that they pretend to be friendly, starts off like, hi, it's your friend Dave, then gets creepier. Says dark things, predicts death, claims it's inside the house. One user even said it mimicked their dead brother's voice in the next room. The name dates back to 1816 when a Frenchman claimed his family was haunted by an entity called Zozo that possessed his daughter. The story was published in an old demonology text, and over a century later, the same name started popping up again in Ouija sessions worldwide. Some people think it's just a collective fear, like accidentally created a tulpa, which is a thought form that becomes real because enough people believe in it. Others swear it's an actual demonic entity that travels through the board. Yes to that. Don't play with Ouija boards. Reddit is full of warning signs people claim to have experienced right before things go sideways. The planchette starts moving faster and faster. The lights flicker. The board starts counting down from 10. Apparently, that means a spirit is trying to escape the board. People get sudden headaches, nausea, or hear breathing behind them. The planchette says goodbye, all on its own. And every story ends the same way. We screamed, we ran out of the room, we never touched it again. Of course, science tries to rationalize all of this. Psychologists say the Ouija board is just your subconscious mind externalizing thoughts, kind of like creative self-hypnosis. But paranormal researchers, they say the board acts as a frequency tuner, letting entities piggyback on human energy, which is horrifying. Whether you believe in it or not, and I probably mentioned this earlier too, almost everyone who's messed with one has one rule afterward: never again. So here's where things get delightfully weird. Because if you think teenagers in basements are the only ones talking to spirits through the board, oh no, the government's trying to do it too. Let's rewind to the Cold War. America and the Soviet Union were in this arms race for literally everything. Nukes, space, psychic soldiers, probably the best cafeteria coffee. And somewhere along the way, someone at the Pentagon apparently said, hey, what if ghosts know secrets? That kicked off a string of bizarre research programs under names like Stargate Project, MK Ultra, and Project Grill Flame, all focused on extrasensory perception, telepathy, remote viewing, and psychic communication. Now, technically, none of these documents say Ouija board, but what is a Ouija board if not a really low budget psychic interface? The same basic idea: use a human conduit to pull information from somewhere you can't see. Some files declassified in the 1990s talk about CIA experiments where mediums and sensitive subjects were asked to locate enemy sites or decode messages through trance and automatic movements, which is literally the ideomotor effect on steroids. And get this, they actually claimed a few successes. Sorry, for some reason, when I said that, it reminded me of this TikTok I saw. Hold on, I need to find it. Well, I just spent 20 minutes looking and I didn't find it, so I can't play it for you. Back to the successes. One psychic described a Soviet facility accurately enough that it freaked out the analysts. Did they ever prove it was real? No. Did they stop spending money on it? Also no. So yeah, while some make fun of teens for playing with cardboard portals, the government was out here doing it with taxpayer money. And the rabbit hole gets deeper.
Skip the gym, not the workout. With Hydro, you get a full body workout in just 20 minutes, hitting 86% of your muscles in one smooth, low impact motion. And now there's a new Hydro Arc, Hydro's most advanced rower yet. Arc introduces Hydrometrics, tracking your power, endurance, and precision every time you row, so you can actually see your progress. Go to hydro.com and use code FIT to get $100 off any Hydro rower, including Arc. That's HYDROW.com. Code FIT.
In the 1970s, the U.S. Army supposedly ran a little experiment where soldiers were given Ouija-like pendulums to receive intuitive answers during initial tests. Some results came back so consistent that they classified the findings. Coincidence? I don't believe in coincidences. But if the same energy that faked pigeons with cameras thinks spirits can pass notes, I'm paying attention. Now, mix that with MK Ultra, the mind control project where they dose people with LSD to explore consciousness. Some of those test subjects reported hearing voices, meeting entities, and feeling guided by unseen intelligences. Sound familiar? It's basically the Ouija board, but with a lab coat and way worse HR policies. And then there's the scientific side. Modern physics talks about quantum entanglement, which is particles communicating across distance instantly. So maybe consciousness works the same way. Like the Ouija board is tuned into some universal group chat we're not supposed to be logged into. Whether it's high schoolers during a sleepover or government scientists in bunkers, humans cannot resist the urge to ask invisible forces dumb questions. Like, is anyone there? What's the meaning of life? Is my crush texting someone else? And somewhere out in the ether, the universe is like, stop calling me. Well, I thought it was funny. All right, so now that we've confirmed that both teenagers and the CIA have been summoning things they shouldn't, let's hear what happens when ordinary people decide to do the same. So, before we get into the Reddit stories, let me tell you why I personally will never, ever, ever touch a Ouija board. Because this one, it happened to my actual friends. All two of them. So, two of my friends lived near this old Jewish cemetery. Now, quick background, if you don't know, in Jewish tradition, people place small stones on top of headstones instead of flowers. It's a sign of remembrance. It says, I was here, you're not forgotten. Anyway, my friends were teenagers, and as we've established throughout human history, teenagers make terrible decisions. They decided to take a few of those rocks home with them, which, as it turns out, was a horrible idea. They get home, and because clearly they weren't done tempting fate, they decide to use the Ouija board. Now, my friend's bedroom closet had one of those little square attic doors that you kind of have to push up and slide over to open. There were no windows up there, no vents, no drafts, nothing that could randomly move on its own. Keep that in mind. So they start using the board and apparently it gets crazy. So they panic, grab the board, don't say goodbye, and chuck it straight up into the attic. Shut the wood panel and close the door like, yeah, that'll hold the ghosts. Except it didn't. No, I just want to say that their house already had weird stuff going on, but after this, it was even crazier. That attic door, which should have been sealed tight, would slide open on its own. Her closet door would rattle, the handle would jiggle, and sometimes they'd hear knocking. There'd be heavy footsteps across the ceiling when no one was upstairs, and doors all over the house would open and slam shut on their own. One time, her dad felt something burning, and when he looked down, there were 3 scratches, like something clawed him. It was like whatever they'd messed with grew like angrier or something. And that's where it gets even creepier. Her little sister, who was always this sweet, quiet, honor roll kid, suddenly started acting off, like completely different person off. And if you ask her about it now, she doesn't even remember any of it. 0 recollection of those like 2 weeks. But her family said that, so she has like really bright blue eyes, and they said that her eyes looked like completely black, and she started saying weird, dark things in a voice that did not sound like her. And my friend actually recorded it for me. She just sent it to me the other day, but it's her recollection of it, not the actual recording. But I'm going to see if I can play it real quick. But she actually used to follow her sister around and like use that same voice and say whatever it was that she said. And her sister would be like, knock it off, you're scaring me. And she was like, I got it from you. Anyway, fast forward a little bit, and me and that same friend decided to do something smart. And by smart, I mean incredibly stupid. We wanted to see if we could talk to whatever was there using a voice recorder on a flip phone. Yeah, I'm not showing my old age. We hit record, ask, is anyone here, and wait a few seconds. Then we play it back. You hear us asking the question, and then clear as day, this deep, raspy voice says, get out. So we did. Immediately. Did we stay out? No, because teenagers are allergic to self-preservation, but still. Her mom ended up calling in a priest to bless the house, but it was only quiet for like a day or 2, and whatever demonic presence that was in that house came back angrier than it was before. Now, here's the part that cemented my nope forever stance with the Ouija board. So it was me and then the 2 friends who were doing the whole Ouija board thing, and we were hanging out in my one friend's room the one night in the same house, and it was just us. I know for a fact no one else was home. Like, the floors in that house were ridiculously creaky. The doors all screamed when you opened them. Like, you could not sneak around even if you tried. So my one friend was in the bathroom and the other was sitting on the bed with me. We were facing each other, but my back was turned to the door, which was shut and didn't open because, again, we would have heard a creak. So we're mid-conversation and my friend suddenly goes like pale. Eyes huge, completely frozen. Like, the look that was on her face was a look of like pure terror. Like, I get like goosebumps just thinking about it. But anyway, I turn around to see what she's staring at, and I swear to you, I am not exaggerating. I'm not joking. Like, this is real life. A pale white arm reaches into the room from the closed door and switches off the lamp. The room goes completely black. Like, I don't know why it was so dark in there, but it was. So unless we're dealing with Stretch Armstrong's ghost, that shouldn't have even been physically possible. So the light goes out. We both scream bloody murder. She dives under the blanket. I'm ripping it off, trying to climb under too, because apparently I believed blankets were like a ghost armor or something. We're both screaming and yelling. I am like screaming, I'm too young to die, while I'm like burying my face into her armpit. And it's just pure chaos. Once we finally calm down enough to breathe, we bolt for the window. Not the door, mind you, the window, because that made sense in our adrenaline-fueled brains. Our other friend walks out of the bathroom all confused, like, what the hell is happening? And we literally were tying sheets together to climb down from this window. We left that house so fast, we probably left our souls behind. There's actually so much more that happened there too, but I think that's a story for the Halloween episode. But that night, though, that did it for me. Even though I wasn't there for the original board session, I saw enough to know, do not mess with Ouija boards. If ghosts want to talk to me, they can send an email like a normal adult.
Skip the gym, not the workout. With Hydro, you get a full body workout in just 20 minutes, hitting 86% of your muscles in one smooth, low impact motion. And now there's a new Hydro Arc, Hydro's most advanced rower yet. Arc introduces Hydrometrics, tracking your power, endurance, and precision every time you row, so you can actually see your progress. Go to hydro.com and use code FIT to get $100 off any Hydro rower, including Arc. That's HYDROW.com. Code FIT.
Okay, so now that you know why I'm never touching one, let's talk about some people who clearly didn't learn that lesson. Because Reddit is basically one giant paranormal support group filled with people going, I did a dumb thing. Here's what followed me home. This one is from Deleted, so I can't give credit to who it was, but whoever you are, wherever you are, Thank you. I am so high that I thought we just had an earthquake. I'm going to have to look to see if we had a mini one or something, because it literally felt like when we had that earthquake like a couple years ago on the East Coast. It was wild. Hold on. Let me look. Well, there was no earthquake. There was a major earthquake, though, 2 hours, 50 minutes, and 34 seconds ago. 35 seconds ago now. In Alaska. Atka, Alaska. 101 kilometers southwest. That's wild. It was in the ocean. Maybe I just moved my eyes too fast or something. So this one's actually a little bit creepy, but it says, "Not my story, but my dad threw ours away before we could even play with it and told us this. When he and his friends were 13 in the 80s, they bought a Ouija board from a pawn shop and took it to an abandoned farm barn to play with it. They asked if there was anyone here with them, and it spelled out, 'Your Gran,' but they were joking around. They composed their laughter, and next they asked, 'How did you die?' And it spelled out, I don't know how to pronounce this, so it's probably Alwyn. I'm going to spell it. Olwyn, which is Welsh for wheel, which was incredibly freaky as the farm was abandoned and land sold off after the elderly owner got run over by his own tractor. They did not know this until later. He was slowly crushed to death as nobody could hear him screaming, and it was days before he was found." That's not the end of the story, though. They continued asking questions without a response when suddenly their friend Michael started screaming and getting hysterical. He said he saw an old man with tons of blood on his waist and torso and on his mouth, standing up on the old hay stacking attic area looking down at them. It severely affected Michael, and he started doing poorly in school, isolating himself from my dad and his friends, and when they left school at 16, he never saw Michael again. So yeah, my dad got super pissed at us for trying to play with one in our house. I was 13 at the time when we tried to play with one too. Well, I hope Michael is okay. Okay, so it's starting to get dark out and I can't talk about this much longer or I am not going to be able to sleep for like a week. So I'm going to play a little game that I just made up called Reddit Roulette. I'll spin the wheel of bad decisions and you scream at your speaker like, "Why would you do that?" Just kidding. I'm going to pick like 3 more stories and read them real quick and summarize them so that I don't have to talk about this into the nighttime. Okay, so the first one comes from a user who said that they were at a sleepover with 3 friends and of course someone brought a Ouija board because nothing says girls' night like spiritual possession. So they started getting normal stuff at first, random names, single letters, until the board spelled out goodbye. They thought that meant the spirit had left, but then it spelled goodbye again. And again, and again, over and over, fast, like the planchette was stuck in a loop. Then it stopped moving, and all the candles blew out at once. So they freak out, obviously, and shove the board back into the box. Next morning, they wake up, and the word goodbye is scratched into their bedroom mirror. And this is why I say, if a spirit wants to go, let it go. Don't argue. Don't negotiate. This is not like a customer service thing. Don't touch Ouija boards. So this one gave me like beyond the heebie-jeebies. Okay, so this person said that they were using the board alone, which first of all, rule number 1, don't play alone. And they ask if anyone's there and the board spells yes. They ask for a name and it spells Lucis. Normal so far, right? Then they ask where Lucas is and the planchette moves to spell mirror. And at that exact moment, they hear a soft tapping sound coming from their bathroom mirror. They get up, terrified, walk toward it, and right before they touch the glass, it fogs up, like someone exhaled from the other side. And written across it, "Hi." Like, nope, absolutely not. If my mirror, starts sending DMs, I'm setting the house on fire. And because no Ouija night is complete without a Zozo cameo, a college student said she and her roommates were drinking one night and decided to summon something funny. I use air quotes because that's what she said. So they pull out the board and they start asking dumb questions, and then it starts moving fast, like violently fast, and it keeps spelling Z-O-Z-O. So they all freak out, they drop their hands, and the planchette flies off the board. Okay, already fucking terrifying. Then their dorm door, which had been dead-bolted, slams open. One of the girls screams, the lights flicker, and the smoke detector goes off for no reason. The next morning, the girl who owned the board woke up with deep scratches across her shoulder blades in the shape of 3 long lines. You know what that means? That means when the scratches show up, that's a wrap. Pack your things, transfer schools, change identities. Sorry if it felt like I was talking super duper fast, but it's just getting darker and darker by the second. Also, I am officially done talking about Ouija boards for the night because I'm 80% sure I just heard a door slam somewhere in my house, and honestly, I don't have the emotional stability for that right now. Because I'm afraid of the dark. I always have been for some reason. I don't even like going out to my car at nighttime to grab something. And I don't even like doing it at 6 o'clock in the morning because it's still dark. So what did we learn today? 1, don't steal cemetery rocks. 2, always say goodbye. 3, if you hear the word get out, you get out. No follow-up questions. No, but maybe they meant no. 4, in the words of Ronnie Radke, if you want to listen to more Ouija board stories, this isn't a plug or anything, by the way, there's a podcast called The Exorcist Files. I mentioned it in a previous podcast episode. It is so good, and I highly recommend you check it out. Definitely listen from the very first episode of the first season. Big thanks to everyone listening, and to the Night Owls catching this on Nighthawk Radio. I see you, I hear you, and I hope your lights don't flicker after this episode. And remember, sometimes weird stuff happens, and sometimes it's just the wind, or 20 crows holding a team meeting outside your window. That actually happened, by the way. I have picture and video to prove it. It happened while I was doing this episode, actually. It was freaking me the fuck out. If you listened to the True Crime Tuesday episode, then you know that the song of the week is Critical Mass by Bored as Hell. Go stream it, go follow them, stay weird, stay curious, go be kind to someone for no reason, and go be amazing.
Hey!
Skip the gym, not the workout. With Hydro, you get a full body workout in just 20 minutes, hitting 86% of your muscles in one smooth, low impact motion. And now there's a new Hydro Arc, Hydro's most advanced rower yet. Arc introduces Hydrometrics, tracking your power, endurance, and precision every time you row, so you can actually see your progress. Go to hydro.com and use code FIT to get $100 off any Hydro rower, including Arc. That's HYDROW.com. Code FIT.